If you're an undocumented student but you don't know what business idea to pursue, you need to watch this video. This three-step process helped me make over $30,000 in revenue without working on any of these businesses full time.
Welcome to Leverage by Juan Maya Hernandez.
Alright, so welcome back to my channel, everyone. My name is Juan Maya Hernandez, and I am on a mission of helping the undocumented community get more jobs to entrepreneurship. So step number one is to figure out your skills, right? So what do I mean, right? So there's two types of skills that you want to kind of look at, right? So you want to look at the soft skills. Soft skills are things such as communication, public speaking, collaboration, leadership. Those are all things that you learn in school. But also you want to look at your hard skills. And these hard skills are probably more connected to your major, right? So these things could be photography, artificial intelligence tools, engineering, computer science, humanities, English, anything, right? So the first step is to figure out your skills, right? So figure out, what I recommend you do is you take out a sheet of paper, you write down a list of soft skills that you have, and you can look this up, and I'm actually going to put a few of them on screen. Just list them out. Soft skills, write at least 10, and then write at least 10 hard skills that you know how to do, right? So these hard skills could be cooking, photography, right? Just list them out, right? That's going to be step number one, right? So step number two is, once you figure out what you're good at, your soft skills, your hard skills, you now remove yourself from the equation and you look externally to society, right? Now, what do I mean by this? You look at the problems in society, or you look at the needs in society, right? So an example of a need: food. An example of a need: clothes. We all need clothes. An example of a need is homes. We all need a place to live. An example of a need is shoes. An example of a need is transportation, right? So those are examples of needs that the community always has. And that's why you see a lot of businesses, food businesses, a lot of restaurants, right? Because everybody needs to eat. Everybody has different preferences. But yeah, look at needs. The other thing you could look at is, you look at the problems, right? So these could be problems that you personally have. This could be problems that somebody close to you has, or you could look at problems that society has as a whole, right? So for example, if I tell some of my friends, do you like washing your own clothes? They may come back to me and tell me like, hey, I kind of don't like it. That could be a problem, right? When I started my headshot photography business, the problem that I was solving was that I looked on LinkedIn and I saw all these undergraduates' profile pictures, and they were all taking bad lighting. And as a photographer, I was like, I could potentially solve this problem. So how can I start testing this, right? So step number two is just figure out, whether you want to solve a problem in society or you want to fill in a need, right? And once you figure that out, it's going to be much easier for you to put these two together, right? So step number one, again, is to figure out your skills. Step number two is to connect that to a problem or a need that you or other people have. And then step number three is just to combine them together, right? So some examples, right? Let's say my hard skills are photography. Okay, I connect that to the problem that students have, okay, on LinkedIn, that they don't have a good professional image, so they cannot give their best first impression, right? And that would easily turn into a headshot photography service for college students, right? And that's how I figured out, okay, this is something that I could potentially do. Why? Because I figured out my skills. I figured out I'm good at photography. I also figured out a problem, just connected, and that's how I was able to create the service, right? Similarly, when I launched the parent company that I am building, it was never a entrepreneurship program from the beginning, right? It shifts over time, but the core problem that I am solving is to help undocumented students get more job opportunities. Now, the way that I get there might change over time, but the mission has not changed. I mean, I'm still behind that mission, behind that vision. So those are the three steps. All right. So step number one, figure out your skills, write every single one of those down. Step number two is figure out what society needs, or what problems in society you can solve. And then step number three is to just connect it together, right? So if you figure out that there's no food, I'm Mexican. So, if I figure out that around my neighborhood, there's no Mexican food places, all right, maybe it's time for me to build that. Maybe there's a need for that, right? I hope you enjoyed this video, but if it is not enough and you are still thinking of starting a business, I do have a gift for you. I just launched the Undocumented Founder Playbook. This is the exact step-by-step framework that I've used to launch all of my companies, make over $30,000, and even the one that I'm using today outlines everything from going from a business idea all the way to legalizing your business in California. It's free. The first thing is going to be on the bio.
Welcome to Leverage by Juan Maya Hernandez.